Hello and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to give you some of the underrated book series that I love. These might not necessarily be underrated to everyone, but they're ones that I do not see enough people talking about. I see the odd person here or there talking about them for some of them, but some of them are just slept on, and that is not okay because, you know, these are amazing. So the first book I want to talk to you about is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm kidding. I am kidding. There will be no Sarah J Maas. There will be no Cassandra Clare. There will be no Victoria Schwab or Leigh Bardugo. There will be none of those authors on this list because they do not belong here. They are not underrated in no one can call them underrated. No, jokes aside, I have 10 book series. 2 of them are by the same author, but 5 of the series I have read completely, and the other 5 I have not, but I still think they should be on here because I love the books in the series that I have read. So for the first one I want to talk to you about, we have the Demonata series by Darren Shan. I absolutely adore this series. I grew up reading this series. Probably read it younger than I should have, but oh well. So I am just going to read you the synopsis for this one. The door feels red hot as though a fire is burning behind it. I press an ear to the wood, but there's no crackle, no smoke, just deep, heavy breathing and a curious dripping sound. My hand's on the doorknob. Inside the room, somebody giggles, low, throaty, sadistic. There's a ripping sound, followed by snaps and crunches. My hand turns, the door opens, hell is revealed. When Grubbs Grady first encounters Lordlos and his evil minions, he learns 3 things. The world is vicious, magic is possible, demons are real. He thinks that he will never again witness such a terrible night of death and darkness. He is wrong. This book was one of my favourites. Literally, there is 10 books in this series. The reason I'm putting this on this list is because whenever someone says Darren Shan, they automatically go, oh, his Circuda Freak series. Which, don't get me wrong, the Darren Shan saga is an amazing series and I loved that one as well. But this one just hits differently. This one has demons and hell, literal hell. And I just absolutely adored it. And it's one that I would highly recommend. And you can see how yellow and kind of warped the pages are because I read these so much as a kid. And I am very close to doing a reread. But Gavin over at How to Train Your Gavin has just read all 10. And I feel like everyone needs to read these because they're just so good. So the next book series is another Darren Shan one. This is the zombie series. Like I said before, the Circuda Freak series is the only one that people ever talk about, but it's actually my least favourite of all of his series. This is my second favourite. I absolutely love this. This is one of his newer ones. It only come out actually, it came out a few years back, but this one, obviously zombies. So B. Smith has always had to deal with a racist father and nightmares of killer babies, but life is about to get a whole lot worse. Welcome to B's dark and twisted world. There is a zombie apocalypse. There is something that happens and B has to adjust to her new life. Obviously slight content warnings for the racist father, but if I remember rightly, he's not in it for too long. I can't remember what actually happens to him. I don't think he's in it for much, but he's horrendous. But B's character development and her struggle with obviously having been brought up by this racist father is I love her character development in this. I think it's brilliant. But yeah, this again is a really creepy series and I absolutely adore it. Next up we have Frostblood by Ellie Blake. Now I've had this series for quite a while And last year, I read all 3 books in the series. This was absolutely incredible. So on the back, it has: enter a world where fire and ice are mortal enemies. Ruby is a fireblood. In a land ruled by frost, her very existence is a crime. She spent her whole life in hiding, until the day Frostblood soldiers raid her village and kill her mother, the day she swears to avenge her people. She must travel deep into the heart of the enemy, to the court of the Frost King, with only the mysterious warrior Arcus, a Frostblood rebel, by her side. But with alliances between fire and ice strictly forbidden, is Arcus friend or foe? Ruby will only have one chance to destroy the maniacal ruler who took everything from her, but she has no idea just how hot her fire will burn. There is a lot more to this, but I absolutely loved the relationship that Ruby and Arcus build. I think it's amazing, and Arcus has my heart. So obviously we have Firebloods and Frostbloods. There is another type that comes along in the, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd book. I'm not going to tell you about that because possible spoilers, probably not, but you know. But yeah, I really loved this, and just the relationships that Ruby has with people in this series is brilliant. And I didn't actually expect to love it as much as I did, but I would say this is probably up there with a favourite series of mine. And I just absolutely adore it so much, and I would highly recommend reading it. Next up we have Ascension by Victor Dixon. So this is another trilogy. This is sci-fi. This, I believe, is translated from French. The author is French, and I believe the series is just called Phobos 1, 2 and 3 in French. However, this is the Phobos series, but they were given new names in English. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I think it was the case. But this is really good. So, in the most ambitious speed dating show ever seen, 12 young astronauts must pair up for life in preparation for being the first humans to colonize Mars. Leonore is one of the chosen ones. She has signed up for glory, she has signed up for love, she has signed up for a one-way ticket. Even if the dream turns to a nightmare, it is too late for regrets. So, this, as well as being a sci-fi, and it's got like this reality TV aspect, like they are watched every second of the day in this space shuttle, and you know, everyone on Earth is watching them on their journey to Mars, because whilst they're on their way to Mars, they are getting to know each other. So it is, the girls and boys are separated, the girls are all together, the boys are all together, and they basically take it in turns to meet each other in this room and get to know each other in a speed dating type of situation. But obviously they are watched by, basically everyone on Earth is obsessed with this, but at the same time things are happening on Earth which the person behind this reality TV show and this like mission to Mars is not who they seem, and things happen. And yeah, I just think it's brilliant. And obviously, and each of the 12, they are so interesting because they all have a secret. The books are from Leonore's point of view, but you do, well, they're not just from her point of view, because obviously the things happening on Earth, but when you're in the space shuttle, I'm pretty sure it's all from her point of view in the space shuttle. So you see the characters through her eyes, but it's such a good series. I am not the biggest fan of sci-fi. It's not my favourite genre, but this was like the first sci-fi series I got fully hooked on, and I just couldn't wait for the next book to come out. And yeah, I absolutely adore these books. And then the final one I'm going to recommend that I've read the entire series for is These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rash. This is a duology, and this is absolutely incredible. So I'm again gonna read you the blurb. Adelina is a soldier. 5 years ago, she helped the magic-rich island of Grace Leray overthrow its oppressor, Argrid, a country ruled by religion. But adjusting to post-war life has not been easy. When an Argyrdian delegate vanishes during peace talks with Grace Laray's new council. Argrid demands brutal justice, but Lou suspects something dangerous is at work. Deverex is a pirate. As one of the steam raiders who run rampant on Grace Laray, he scavenges the island's magic plants and sells them on the black market. But after Argrid accuses raiders of the diplomatic's abduction, Vex becomes a target. An expert navigator, he agrees to help Lou find the Argyrdian, but the truth they uncover could be deadlier than war. Bennett is a heretic. The Crown Prince of Argrid, he harbours a secret obsession with Grace Laray's forbidden magic. When Ben's father, the king, gives him the shocking task of reversing Argrid's fear of magic, Ben has to decide if one prince can change a devout country or if he's building his own pyre. As conspiracies arrive, Lou, Vex and Ben will have to decide who they really are and what they are willing to become for peace. We have like steam raiders, we have pirates, we have magic, we have like religion that basically thinks all magic is bad, and obviously princes. We have Prince Ben. I love Ben. Ben's my favorite. Yeah, I absolutely love this, and I really love the writing style in this. I can't even describe it, but since reading this, I've read the first book in Sarah Rash's other series that she wrote solo, and you can tell that one was her first one, and this is so much better. Like, the Snow Like Ashes isn't bad, but this one is just amazing. I was so hooked on it. I could not stop reading it, and then I literally devoured the second book as soon as I got it. So yeah, it's definitely one that will keep you on your toes and just keep you wanting more. So now we move on to the ones that I haven't actually finished the series for. Most of these I've read most of the books in the series. So first up we have Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. This one is like desert fantasy. I love it. Duswalk is an unforgiving dead-end town. It's not the place to be poor or orphaned or female, and yet Amani Halhiza must call it home. Amani wants to escape and see the world she's heard about in campfire stories. Then a foreigner with no name turns up, and with him she has the chance to run. But the desert plains are full of dangerous magic. The Sultan's army is on the rise, and Amani is soon caught at the heart of a fearless rebellion. This is just absolutely incredible. I have read the first 2 books. I still need to read the 3rd book. The only reason I haven't yet is because I know it's going to rip my heart out and I'm scared. But this is just such a rich world. There's so much world building, and I just absolutely love everything about this. It will rip your heart out. I sobbed at the 2nd book, which is why I've been putting off the 3rd book, but it's just an absolutely incredible series, and there are not enough desert fantasy type books that are talked about a lot. Like, you don't really get many that are talked about, but yeah, absolutely love this. Brilliant series, and one that I cannot wait to actually finish. Next up we have The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. So I'm just gonna go for it with the synopsis. I am the perfect weapon, I kill with a single touch. Willa is blessed. The gods have chosen her to marry a prince and rule the kingdom, but the favour of the gods has its price. A deadly poison infuses her skin. Those who anger the queen must die under Twilla's fatal touch. Only Leaf, an outspoken new guard, can see past Twilla's chilling role to the girl she truly is. Yet in a court as dangerous as the Queen's, some truths should not be told. So this one, so good. The ending of this is one of those endings where you just want to pick up the 2nd book right away. The 2nd book, however, does take a little bit of a different direction. Can't say more than that, but it does not follow Twilla. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong, but I don't know how else to pronounce it. I don't know. But this is really good, and it's a little bit tropey, but in the best way. I'm not going to say what tropes there are, but because I don't want to spoil it, but it's just, this one's really hard to describe. I like without spoiling. I don't even know. I absolutely loved this. You do find out, so obviously you find out what sin eaters are. I think sin eaters are really interesting. Like it's a really interesting world that Melinda has like created here, and I really need to read the third book. But this is me, I'm terrible at finishing series. We should know this by now. Next up, we have the only contemporary that is on this, and that is Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne. So this is the first book in the Spinster Club series. This is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to read the back. All Evie wants is to be normal, and now that she's almost off her meds and at a new college where no one knows her as the girl who went nuts, there's only one thing left to tick off her list. But relationships can mess with anyone's head, something Evie's new friends Amber and Lottie know only too well. The trouble is, if Evie won't tell them her secrets, how can they stop her making a huge mistake? So this one is one, obviously, trigger warnings. There is a lot of mental health talk in this. A hell of a lot, and Evie adjusting to coming off of her meds and adjusting to I believe she starts at a new college, and adjusting to that new schedule, as well as being off of her meds and making new friends and just trying to live a normal life. And this like really got to me, because it's one of those things where you know that if she was to talk and open up to her new friends, they would be understanding, but it's YA contemporary, that's not going to happen. But this is so good. Holly Bourne is just a queen of writing YA contemporary. I absolutely adore her books, and this series is just amazing. She writes mental health issues so incredibly well, and yeah, I can't say how much I love this book enough. But again, it's another one that I need to finish the series. I think the other books in the series are from Amber and Lottie's point of view, but I have not read the other books yet. Then we go back to fantasy, because this is me. Next up, we have Viper by Bex Hogan. This is the Isles of Storm and Sorrow series. This is pirates and magic, and need I say more? The blurb is, he will make me a killer or he will have me killed. That is my destiny. 17-year-old Marianne is fated to one day become the Viper, defender of the 12 Isles. But the reigning Viper stands in her way. Corrupt and merciless, he prowls the seas in his warship, killing with impunity, leaving only pain and suffering in his wake. He's the most dangerous man on the ocean, and he is Marianne's father. She was born to protect the islands, but can she fight for them if it means losing her family, her home, the boy she loves, and perhaps even her life? A brave heroine, an impossible dilemma, an epic new fantasy trilogy set on the high seas. Like I said, pirates, magic, backstabbing, heartbreak, and just everything. Betrayal. Betrayal is a main theme in these books, and it hurts you a lot. But yeah, absolutely love this series. I'm very scared to read the third book because of people's reactions to it, but they have also made it very clear that the book is absolutely incredible. So yeah, this is a series that I would highly recommend, purely on the betrayal itself, because don't we all love a book with the betrayal in it? But yeah, and also the covers are gorgeous. And then finally we have the Ash Princess series by Laura Sebastian. This is another one I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this. But I really enjoyed the first two books. I do still need to read the third book. Also, before I read the blurb, can we just... It's, like, amazing. But yeah, so... The queen you were meant to be, the land you were meant to save, the throne you were meant to claim. Theodosia was 6 when her mother, the Fire Queen, was murdered before her eyes. 10 years later, Theo has learned to survive under the relentless abuse of the invading Kezia and his court as the ridiculed Ash Princess. But when the Kezia denies her last hope of rescue, Theo vows revenge. Forced to make impossible choices and unable to trust even those who are on her side, Theo will have to decide how far she's willing to go to save her people and how much of herself she's willing to sacrifice to become queen. This book had me like hooked. So we also have a little bit of romance, because it wouldn't be a YA fantasy with a prince and a supposed to be enemy princess. But this book, Theo trying to like stand up to the Khazid is just, I hate him so much. And she has to try and figure out if his son, the prince, is just like gonna betray her or actually is genuine. And that was one of my favorite things, her trying to like figure that out. But I absolutely love this series. I don't actually know what's stopping me from reading the third book. But yeah, Theo having to like basically rise from the ashes is just... And I know there have been a few people that have read this that haven't particularly loved the first book. And I will say the second book is a lot better, but the first book I did really enjoy. And again, like I said, I need to pick up the third book soon and see how it ends. I have theories, which obviously I can't share because spoilers, but this is really good. This is another book filled with betrayal and friendships and just everything. It's a YA fantasy. It's got everything you need in a YA fantasy. So that was my 10 recommendations for underrated series I never see talked about on BookTube, or just in general. To be honest, don't see anyone talking about this. The only one that could possibly be a bit about being on this is Viper, because that series is pretty popular, but on Twitter and Instagram I do not see many people on BookTube talking about it. So I wanted to add it in here because it's an amazing series and deserves to be read by a lot more people, and hopefully one day it will no longer be on an underrated series recommendations video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have read any of these series, let me know, and let me know what you thought of them. If you have any other underrated series you think should be on a list like this, let me know. I would love to get more recommendations. We all know I love books, so I would be very interested to see some more recommendations. So please do let me know in the comments below any that you think should be on this list. But that is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.